All right, y'all, how's it going? Hey, I wanted to make this video. The boat's in here. We got a ton more rain coming. We've already had a ton of rain, so that river's going to be messed up for a while. But anyway, I wanted to do this one because I get asked a lot about the bait that I use for white bass, and I'm gonna tell you, and it's not just white bass, but you've seen me catch. I don't know. You probably at least, if you've been watching me for the last little bit, you've seen me catch. Probably, let me see if I can get a closer look at that. Oh, hang on a second. Got to do the old hand trick on this one. There we go. But you've seen me catch hundreds, if not at least 1,000, white bass on this lure, and it's absolute killer. I've had a lot of people ask me what it was, how to make it, and all that stuff, because I do. I mean, because I don't like to spend money on things that I know that I can put together myself. So basically, all it is I got this. This is the mold, which I will link everything in the description. This is a vibrating lure. It's the mold that I get from. Actually, I get everything from Barlow's Tackle. That's kind of what it looks like, on the inside. Which there's several different sizes in here. There's a 3/4, 5/8, half ounce, 3/8, and quarter ounce. But I always run just nothing but the half ounce, because the half ounce does. It's an all-around perfect weight for me and for what I like chasing with those. So I'll tell you that I've caught several white bass with it, caught several sauger with it, catfish. I think the biggest catfish I've caught on that was on this bait here. It's probably been 40 pounds, but it was just one of them deals where I happened to catch a bunch of blues schooled up in some little water inlet. They were obviously up there chasing bait, so the bait they were chasing was what I was, the same size I was throwing. So me and a good friend of mine, we had a real fun day with that one. But no, I just wanted to go through the process of how I make these, because they're very simple to make. Which I'll start right here. We're waiting for the lead to heat up so I can go ahead and do it. Now I'm out, so I don't have any protective gear on because I'm in my shop. I got all the doors open. It's well ventilated, so no need to worry about that. And I'm using my melting pot as opposed to this one. I was pouring. Let me see if I can. I think they're warm enough, but I was pouring these. These are 16-ounce weights, getting ready for Mississippi. But anyway, so the other, well, where'd it go? Oh, it fell in my pocket. That was cool. But the other piece to it is this right here. This is the blade part of it, right? So again, you buy these I get these off of Barlow's Tackle, which like I said, I will link all the parts and pieces in the description below. There'll be a little block probably at the bottom that talks about all that. But yeah, I get these blades. I think I get a pack of 100 for, I don't know, I think it's maybe 15, 20 bucks, I think. I'm not real sure. It's not very expensive at all. But if you was to buy these individual baits at, say, your local bait shop, they're usually $5 to $8 for a 2-pack, or even $5 for one of these, where I can make 4 of these for next to nothing. So but I'll run down, like I said, I'll run down the list of all the stuff that I use. But the hooks are kind of important. They're not too important, but they're kind of important. So what I do is I find the cheapest short shank #4 treble hook I can find, let's say on Amazon or anywhere. I try to find the cheapest ones, because you'll bend them, because it's just that you'll lose them. So that's one of the other reasons why I like to try to make it, because places I throw these things, try to find these white bass, like later in the year as we get into late summer, where I kind of still want to use white bass, or I want to change the bait up. They get kind of hard to find, so they're typically hanging around, kind of like where the crappie are going to be at around that time of year. They're going to be tighter to structure at some point, whether it be rocks or brush or something in the water, just a little bit deeper. And so I tend to lose a lot doing that, trying to chase them. But I'm going to let this lead heat up, and I'm going to get once it's heated up, and of course I got the mold sitting on top of it. So what that does at the same time as the lead's heating up, it lets the mold also heat up, because you got to have it. I ain't gonna say hot, but you need to have it at least warm. At least not cool like it is kind of today. So you definitely want to let your mold heat up, because it'll make the lead pour better, and it'll just look better all around. But once we get this all set up and heated, I'll catch back up with you guys. All right, so we're getting close to pouring these things. The problem with these blades, though, is they're a little bit cooler than, say, your mold. So what I like to do is is I'll take them, and you can see I've already got one stuck in there while it's, you know, the lid's hot. I'm just trying to finish heating up this mold, and then of course warm up that blade so that way the lead will flow around it pretty easy. It's sometimes once you get the mold hot enough, it's a pretty easy pour. But when you first start out, you got to get that lead, you got to get everything pretty warm. So we'll give that a few seconds. Seems like it's pretty warm now. So let me go ahead and try it, test it. Oh yeah, that seemed like a pretty good pour. Thing with this one, that little plunger leaks every now and again, but see what she looks like. Oh yeah. So essentially, get it out of there. That's what you'll end up with. That's part one. So let me go ahead and pour these other two, and then we'll get down and we'll finish them up. But every time I do it, even though the mold is warm, I'll just kind of let that blade warm up, because that helps, like I said again, that helps the lead just kind of flow easily around that blade. It's just stainless is all it is, just stamped stainless. So just kind of let it warm up. I always just do kind of like this little touch. If it feels a little hot, ready to pour. See, like that one didn't come out the greatest. I didn't let it warm up enough, I don't guess. Yep, I'll just see what I do with those. If they don't come out right, I'll just take a little torch. I get a little propane torch, and I'll just heat that back up, melt that lead back off, and redo them. But for the purpose of the video, I just need to get at least one more poured all right. But that'll happen. But like I said, once everything heats up, your lead heats up more, your mold heats up more, and then of course you keep that blade, you get it warm, if not hot, then things will go pretty smooth, just like that first one did. But let me finish up this one, and then I'll go down to my the rigging room, and we'll finish everything up. That should be good. Look like a decent pour, yeah. So you can see I just left it in there just a little bit longer, and I got another really good pour on that one. But okay, we got that part of it done. So what I'll do is I'll see you when we get back in the rigging room. All right, so we made it back down here. So I've already started kind of the process on some of these. You can kind of see the start of them right here. It's kind of what it looks like with the little stickers on them. So I got some of these, but these are the ones we just poured. So they're simple. Let me find my so this little extra lead here, I just come right here at the base of it, and then I just clip it off with a small pair of wire cutters. That seems to do the trick. Put them, use them for later, which I've got just enough left. But here's the stickers that I use. Again, see if I can get it to focus here. Come on now. Come on now. But anyway, so again, these also come off of Barlow's tackle, which they have supplied me for a lot of years in some of this stuff. But this is pretty simple, and see that they make like a red, a gold, chartreuse, like I think they even make a blue, but this color here is killer. It's the only one that I've used for a while, and just because, you know, there's no need for all the other colors, I just use this color, then that's it. But it's pretty simple, you know, because you can see, if I get it to focus, you can see this little spot right here, a little low spot, and then of course it gets thin. Well, that'll go. See if I can keep it all focused. I don't know if I can, but and then do it right. But and that's how you line it up, just like that. So you can see where the little notch is for where that's where the snap's going to go eventually. Then of course you got the spot back here that's cut out for the hole for the split ring to go through for the hook. So let me finish this one up, and we'll put some eyes on it, because I don't know if that makes a big deal, but I think it does. I hate having an eyeless lure for sure. And you just do the same thing to the other side, just line everything up. Get it the best you can, because it's not going to be 100% perfect every single time you do it. That's a fact. 'Cause I've built many of these, and I don't believe any two are the same as far as like placement of the sticker. So again, I got the same sticker on both sides. So it just creates, especially when that sun's out, when them fish are moving and they're feeding, and when that sun's out, this thing, I mean, you could probably, let me see if we could catch it, but you can see how it just like, it shimmers all the blues and purples and greens and pinks and stuff. It's kind of a neat little deal. Them old white bass, they just find it hard to resist it, because it mirrors or mimics exactly what they're chasing, and they're chasing them little, you know, them thread fins that are about that same size. So they can't stand it. So anyway, so these are just the little, oh, they're little. I wish this thing would focus on what. It keeps trying to focus on me. But anyway, so here's the little eyes, and it's pretty neat. So these are the tweezers that I got. So these tweezers here, you have they make it simple, or super simple for me, but you got to squeeze them to open them, and then they automatically want to stay closed. Now you can use any tweezers. I would not suggest using your fingers to try to do this, because it's just not going to work. They're too small. So it's pretty simple. I just take them, and I'll use the tweezers to slightly lift up a corner of one of these eyes here, and you just set it right inside it, because if you can see the little socket, I don't know if it's focusing on that just yet, but you can see the little socket for the eye there. And you could use the 3D eyes if you want to. I just choose these because they're cheaper. And I just set it in there. Then I take an old pencil, use the eraser side, and then I just push them in there. And it's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and do the other side as well. There's a few little tools, you know, like this that you'll need to make things a lot simpler for you to do it. But I've literally probably made thousands of these, whether it be for myself or other people. So I've kind of got all this down to a science. So what I was telling you about, the cheapest number 4 treble hooks that I could find, and these are the ones I get off Amazon. Of course, short shank, that's critical. They got to be short shank, because if you don't, the distance between here and there, these hooks will always get tangled up with each other. So I always, you know, like I said, a short shank, even I would prefer to have, so I'll show you the treble hook, but I would even prefer to have a shorter shank than that. But like I said, these are the cheapest ones I could find. And they're sharp. They do the trick. I mean, not every one of them is sharp, like razors sharp and it like that, but they do the trick for sure. So I'll lay out enough hooks. But I think this box of, it may have been 100. I don't know. It's usually pretty much everything that I can get off of Amazon. It usually comes in a box or a package of 100, just for the simple fact I don't like spending a whole lot of money on, you know, things like this. But let me see. Oh, I see what happened here. Oh, so this one, no, I pulled out the wrong one. They snuck in a long shake hook on me. I don't like it when they do that. But you could, here, let me see if I can put these up. You can see the difference. So you can see like the bottoms of the hooks. Let's see if I can get it straight. See how much of a difference that is right there? So this is the short shank that I like, and it's kind of a longer shank. So they must have, you know, I don't know where they package them, but must have got mixed up in my box. So I'll set that over here. And then get one more. But yeah, so the short shank hooks is what I like using. Anyway, so the next thing you'll need is just a pair of you know, split ring pliers. And then these split rings that I use, you know, they're itty bitty things. I mean, I want to have to do a little bit more research on that to see what size those actually are. But I do know number 4 hooks. These are number 2 snaps that'll go on here. But but again, it's really simple. They're just like the basic ones you would find like on a bass lure or something like that. That's about the size they are. So if you know much about that, you can figure them out. But like I said, I'll do some research. I'll go back through my old orders, and hopefully I can come across the size of snap or split rings these are. It ain't nothing more than, you know, put it on the, I always do the hook first because it's easier to work with, and I'll put it on the lure itself. And then I'll take, once they're on the hook, I'll take them, Obviously with the split ring pliers, it makes it so much easier when you get a little set of split ring pliers. All right, so that's where we're at in the process here. See if we get that to focus. See how come on camera. It keeps wanting to get me in the background. Anyway, so there's that. I'll do a little bit better job. But yeah, here's the snaps. They're number 2 snaps. That for a fact I do know, because I just had to order some. And then I always put it. You'll see that let me see if I can get it to focus on it real quick. So there's 3 holes. You can see the 3 holes there. I always put it in the center hole. It just seems like that's, I've tried the front and the back, but it just seems like that center hole has been, for the action, for the way it retrieves, stuff like that, that just seems to be the best. So basically what you end up with is that right there. Come on now. You can do it. There we go. So that's basically what you end up with. So we started off with just a blade, some lead, a couple stickers, 2 treble hooks, 2 snap rings, and a snap itself. And then that right there is probably one of the best lures that I've ever used when it comes to catching. And I'm going to say, I say multiple species of fish. Like I said, I've caught everything from white bass to bluegill to yellow bass to sauger to bass to, largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, and up to 40-pound catfish. That's the biggest catfish. That, and of course, huge Asian carp, because you will run into them a few times. Run this thing through the water. But yeah, like I said, this is probably the all-around best bait. And a lot of people had to, ask me where I get them, what they are, how to make them, because I did say, I make them, and that's exactly how I do it. And I could sit here, like I could pump out, 4 or 5 of these, probably within 30 minutes, and then I'm good for at least a really good handful of fishing trips. So, but yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. It's really simple. Like I said, when you start getting to where you're making a lot of this stuff yourself, instead of relying on Walmart or Bass Pro or other places like that to get your little terminal tackle or little lures like this, or take a lot of that and try to make it yourself, because you'll be amazed at how much money you save. And being able to do this and get the parts and pieces that I want, that I prefer, just makes it so much easier for me, and I have a lot more confidence in it. So I hope this helps. I hope this answers a few questions. If nothing else, like I said, all this stuff will be linked in the description below. Get some and start building your own stuff. I mean, you'll find that you have a lot more freedom with what you want to do, and you're not stuck with the production item. So, but anyway, with all that being said, I appreciate you watching this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.